Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan, and today it is a great pleasure to welcome Mr. Karl Travis, partner, Hager Design International. Karl, how are you?
Fantastic, Craig. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's cooled down here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. We were in the oven yesterday, 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, but it's hot.
I'd have to agree with you on that. And, Oregon, Washington State have also been having a hot spell as well. So I figured it probably drifted north of the border as well. So Karl and his team at Hager provide interior design services, project management, brand design. They'll help you with your permits, to mention a few things. Karl loves design. Whether it's a restaurant, a retail space, hotel, senior living facility, he enjoys the process of design and interacting with the team at Hager and their clients. Together, they can help you navigate through the design process as well as a plethora of other things that come along during the process. That way you can do what you do best and run your business. Karl, let's jump right into this. I touched on a couple of things with Hager. Would you go into a little bit more depth about your company? And full disclosure, I've worked with these guys in the past, and they are great. So thank you.
Well, thanks for saying that, Craig, and thanks for the introduction on what Hager does. It's exactly that. You can go to our website at www.hagerinc.com. And you can look at some projects that we've done, who we are, and as well as brands that we work with. We do a lot. We are hospitality designers, interior designers, and we specialize in hotels, restaurants, senior living, and retail spaces. So in the past, we have been doing a lot of hotel work in the U.S., a lot in Canada as well, and we kind of help navigate the clients through the various processes that are required to either get the place built or do permitting. So Hager Design International, we do design. We can bring a brand to the table for you and work with you to sort of iron out what is required and to fulfill your vision of what you're looking to do in the end. And we will help you design the spaces and put it basically on paper, so the contractors and any authorities having jurisdiction will be able to sort of see what the design intent is. And we will also work with other consultants like architects, engineers, and health officials and stuff like that. So,
absolutely, and I think you're being a little modest, my friend, because you guys were instrumental in the growth of Delta in Canada prior to Marriott purchasing them. And you worked on the first couple of Deltas and more in the United States. So kudos to you and the entire team.
Thank you.
I mean, your restaurant skills, your hospitality skills and retail are certainly, second to none. So it's really a pleasure to have you here. So Karl, what's it been like both professionally and personally during the pandemic up in Canada? I've got no clue other than a friend of mine in Toronto who is still in lockdown and she's not very happy. So
no, I mean, unfortunately for everybody, it's been pretty tough. And I think that there's been a lot of companies that have suffered and a lot of companies that haven't. What I've found in the last year in Canada, especially, is we have been hit, I guess, just as bad as anybody else, and really trying to quash the numbers. And there's been various different methods of how that's been happening. In Canada, each province is responsible for putting in the restrictions that would have helped to bring the numbers down, and numbers of those who contract the virus and those who get sick and get into hospital. Unfortunately, I mean, we've lost a lot of people, and my heart goes out to many of those families and the friends of those people. But I mean, the government here, the provincial government, has done a very good job, and we have our chief medical officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, who has kept us informed very well, in my mind, and really sort of given us a clear shot picture of what needs to be done and what's happening. Businesses have been hit hard: restaurants, hotels, retail, senior living. I mean, it's those vulnerable, the older and vulnerable people who have really suffered the most. And it's been tough, but we're starting to open up. Our numbers are way down with the cases.
Good.
And it's we're actually hitting step 3 tomorrow for the recovery reopening plan, which is, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And I mean, with respect to restaurants and that, the authorities having jurisdiction have been really helpful. Kudos to the restaurateurs who have stayed open. So,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it's been really tough, and but I think we're getting through it, and I think the optimism is coming back, and tomorrow is the day that we find out about step 3 here in British Columbia. Ontario, I'm not sure where they're at, but right. I think their stay-at-home restrictions are over, and they're going to try and start opening things. So we shall see there.
Good. Well, I know Doris Hager, obviously. I know you're a partner. Andrea Depew, your business development person, is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
just
she
a
is.
wonderful human being. You guys are personal. It's about, being on site, being at the client's office, dinner meetings, everything else, conference circuit. So as one of the partners and a leader, I mean, how's it been to keep your team together and the optimism up? Because basically everybody you worked with at the brands was either furloughed or laid off. You had projects, whether they were ground up or renovations or anything in between, that you still had to work with. I mean, is your team coming through this unscathed, and are you finding, working with the brands getting easier again?
Well, we were scathed. I mean, when COVID hit the US, it was quite hard for everybody down there, and I mean up here too. But we had a lot of projects coming down the pipeline in the US, and that just stopped. So unfortunately, we weren't able to keep all our staff, and we kept as much as we could in the hopes of getting through this quickly. It wasn't as quickly as we thought it would happen. We didn't have a crystal ball like everybody else, but everybody started working from home, and Zoom, of course, was the thing to do. We're all doing our best, and if you do your best, that's all we can ask. If you're having issues with anything, we just have to communicate. We have to talk to each other, and that's the only way that we could really get through this pandemic and the situation that we were put in. With Andrea down in Arizona, I mean, we were already doing that with her. We were already doing go-to meetings or Zoom calls or stuff like that, conference calls. And with Andrea, I mean, it actually was nicer that we could Zoom with her because we could see her face, because before she was just a voice out of a box in the middle of the table. So I think it was helpful in that respect. And Zoom was kind of cool at the very beginning.
Right.
And I think, there's the pandemic has brought a number of different, types of new words and phrases. The Zoom fatigue, I think, is set in.
Yeah.
So we're all pretty excited to, and Andrea especially, because she's a people person, and she likes to get out and have those face-to-face conversations. So she's doing that now, and with the opening in the U.S., I mean, it's great. Everybody's, the vaccination rates are much higher there than they are here. We're getting there, but for now, it's nice to see that people are starting to fly more, and conferences are opening. And yeah, so to answer your question, it's been tough, and I think we're coming out of it. So we're going to do our best to get back on track.
Absolutely. I think we all are. I think, with the announcement in your province tomorrow and what we've been seeing in the U.S. for the past 60 plus days, we're feeling an optimism down here that we didn't have 3 or 4 months ago. And you're right. Zoom fatigue is set in. I think the hotels have done a great job at messaging since they've reopened. They're cleaner and safer. You see the cleaning people now. They're not in the lobby at midnight or 2 a.m. They're there constantly. Everybody has got an app on their phone for their favorite brand, and you can check in, have an electronic key, and everything else. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing, and a lot of changes that have been implemented, and more to follow. But my question to you is, what's the future hold for hotels relating to F&B? Because that's really one of your strong suits. You're doing a lot of restaurants. You're engaged with your team, coming up with new concepts and, rebranding of restaurants. The hotel restaurant, is finally changing. It's not going to be just passable food. I mean, the airport hotels are going to have a good F&B component to them. The boutique guys and gal operators have had great food for a long time, usually 2 meals a day, smaller portions, but really good food. And now I think there's some excitement with the airport hotels and conference hotels coming back with various options. What do you think, and what are you seeing out there?
Well, I think, it's the crystal ball scenario, and the pandemic has really thrown curveballs left, right, and center, and sliders, if you want to use a baseball analogy. I think the brands have really done a phenomenal job with, figuring things out. Like, the cleanliness, as you pointed out, how they're ensuring that when things reopen and people are returning to the hotels, that they're safe. They're safer than even before. And I think that's a really good thing for the brands and the independents as well. I mean, if you sit around idly and not really consider what you need to do, you're gonna fail. But I mean, there's a lot of collaboration going on in restaurants and with the social media channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all those. LinkedIn especially, I've found a new life with well, not a new life, but podcasts. I'm listening to some fantastic podcasts like yours, Craig. It's very informative, and there's a lot of people out there that are struggling through figuring out what to do, but also sharing their experiences and their knowledge and expertise on that. I think with F&B in hotels, it's even before the pandemic, I think it was very much at the forefront of I mean, somebody wants to go to a restaurant and they want the full experience, and you can't just have a restaurant that is simple and the food is okay. I think what's happening now is there's a little bit more thought and a little bit more money put into the restaurants. And so it really entices those people who are staying in the hotel to stay in the hotel and go to the restaurant and enjoy really good meals. Maybe sometimes it's not the hotel brand. Maybe they'll pull in a restaurant brand with a good track record or really good and notable chefs that will go in and do their thing. Again, cleanliness is key, and once we get out of this pandemic, I think we're gonna want to go back to the normal, and the new normal is one of those other catchphrases as well. I'm not sure people are wanting the new normal. Like, what exactly is that? We're human beings. We're sociable. We want to get back to what we've done in the past, and providing a safe environment when you're going out to eat or staying in hotels. I think that's at the forefront now. I mean, it was always, but now it's more so than ever.
I agree with that. And I don't know if we're at our new normal. I think we're still a year away from that. I think, everybody trying to get reopened, travel back, entertainment, sports. This year, I think it's going to be an experiment. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think where we're at 4 months from now is going to be quite a bit different from where we're at right now. So
Agreed.
I think 2022 style will be the one that we get to have our new normal. My friend, we are out of time. It just blink of an eye, it was gone. Karl, how can people get a hold of you? It's time for a shameless plug.
Well, I plugged it earlier. It's you can go to our website at www.hagerinc.com, HAGERINC.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Karl Travis. Please reach out and DM me. We can talk shop or just design in general, and also Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, not so much, but we're out there, and we're always here to help and be part of a collaborative team to help design the space. So we'll take over and let the business owners do what they do best, is run their business, and hopefully not think about design. Leave it in our good hands.
There you go. Thank you for joining us today, Karl. You've got an open invitation to come back anytime. And also, if you go back to our YouTube channel, you can find our interview with Andrea Depew. That was a lot of fun. We also had her on the other show, the Glenn Houseman and I host Friday Night Audit. And that was truly fun. So we had a good time with that. I would like to thank our production partners, Red Roof Franchising and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group, California. Have you reached out to them yet? If not, why not? When you do, tell them that producer Danny and I sent you. They're great people. They're there to help you. I'd also like to thank you, our audience, for joining us today. Without you and without our production partners, we don't have a show. Now, if you'd like to suggest a guest, a topic, you want to be on the show, again, DM producer Danny or myself. We'd love to have a conversation with you about that. And remember, be kind, share your knowledge. Now go be amazing.